Hello. First cup of tea of the day, out of a paper cup, rock and roll. Oh, thanks, Joy, for the cups. Brilliant, brilliant. What have we got here? Wow, that is a massive piece of celestite. Beautiful crystal. It's nice just to hold it in your hands and feel the beautiful healing energies coming from it. I wanted to talk today about something that has literally popped up in science over the last week or so, which is interesting because I wrote about it in Starman about 18 months ago. And it's the rather fringe scientific hypotheses that is gathering momentum now, and more of these scientific bodies are looking into it and finding it very interesting. What certain scientists have done is they've looked at the crystalline structure that you find in crystals, and they've looked at the frequencies moving through them. They can measure the frequencies, and these frequencies seem to move as though they're alive. Now, this is no shock to us, is it? Because as spiritual people, this is what we do. We feel the living life force that's in crystals. But it's quite an unusual occurrence for the scientific community to be saying the same thing. Now, they're obviously not going to be talking the spiritual talk, but they are saying that it's very unusual, that it seems to be that these waves, these patterns act like life. So how can we use these patterns? What does it mean? And this always worries me a little bit, because everything and anything that is in nature, that's good and of the light, can always be turned dark by man. And we've seen it happen over and over again. And I can't help but think that as scientists uncover this realization of life in crystals a little bit more, they'll start to think, well, how can we use this to do our bidding? Even worst case scenario, how can we use this as a weapon? You know, and we've seen that time and time again as well throughout history, taking work that is very good and could benefit everyone and simply reducing it to the likes of a weapon, you know, weaponizing something that's good. It brings me on to what we're doing here today, what I'm doing here today, and that's reading a little bit from Starman, recently published literally a few weeks ago, but written about 18 months ago. Held off publishing Starman because of the whole COVID thing that was going on. It seemed better to wait. There's a chapter in Starman called The Crystalline Entity, and it will be out of context if you haven't read the book, but I think you'll find it interesting. And the idea is that the debate here and what I'm bringing up today could encourage the right sort of thinking and encourage a little bit of debate regarding whether these things are a good thing when science uncovers something that is innately spiritual. Can we trust that they will be used in a good way? You know what I think. The crystalline entity. Beware, beware, Sheol's pit of old. Don't look in the waters cold. You'll see those dreadful eyes. You'll see what sleeps, yet never dies. Alamode Yes, there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Selena is approaching from the front. I can see her through the crystal lift shaft, slightly distorted by the mechanism, but her blonde hair gives her away and is very easy to spot. It's one of her unusual oddities. There's not many blonde-haired Ranocereans, just a handful in each generation. I can see that she is doing her utmost to hold firm her cover, but she can barely contain her excitement brought on by this whole cloak and dagger type situation. Excited and a little nervous, but mainly excited, such is the confidence she has in me. She spots me through the crowd and immediately refocuses her efforts and attempts to be more natural and more in keeping with her flat and brain-dead surroundings. The people who fill this barren space like the empty souls who wander hungry through the wasteland of revelation. Needless to say, she's failing, but no matter. The others are merely here as a smokescreen anyway, a distraction so that yours team may get close to the Ranocerian Queen undetected. These kids, my kids, have all grown up in the wild, and so they are all full carbon, 4 tasty morsels that need to appear as though willing initiates, insects being drawn towards a webbed honey trap. I've explained to them incessantly over the months that they, each of them, will be bait for Kaz, something for her to focus in on, something to draw her attention away from yours tea. They just nod in a reassuring way and insist that they simply want to be involved in some way, the ultimate plan. I can't argue with that. In general, the meetings with Kaz will eventually render a person completely synthetic. She chips away at the treasured energy that melds the physical body to a person's soul, and after a while there is nothing left of the original flesh and blood and bone vessel. The special carbon that each unit harbours is nibbled away from a pre-existing natural form and is utilised by Kaz in the construct of her ever-evolving crystalline brain. The tiny fragments that she takes daily and replaces with synthetic slivers within the bodies that she's slowly devouring are reshaped and packaged, and the Dumbos throughout the city help fit the S-carbon blocks in place and engineer the perfect thinking mechanism. The S-carb goes in one end with the ingenuity of the specially trained workforce, and one after the other, the humanoid replicas of Kaz move smoothly out of the other side. Once through production, these reptoids, as she calls them, jump to life and adopt the role of Kaz's eyes and Kaz's ears and Kaz's fingers. And then other senses are adopted by the hive mind that are most unnatural and only ever experienced by the most hideous darkness. These dark entities are not built, they are grown, like growing a crystal. And once they get past a certain size, physical as well as intellectual, they will need food. The special carbon gets the organism going in the first place, the intelligent lattice of a crystalline neural net. But then, after a certain time of getting fat on knowledge, there is the inevitable and further S-carb injection that always is needed. Such a unique element can only be found in the living, well, the living dead, as they end up. And she makes good her contract, Kaz, I mean. She treats the loyal of this city like beloved pets and sustains their sorry existence long after each unit, person, has outlived their usefulness. Who knows why she does this? Why does she entertain them anyway? When they are no longer of any use to her, like accommodating the city of the damned. There's a point where darkness cannot be fathomed. Maybe she gets a kick out of pleasuring them even after they have given over everything carbon and S-carb. Or maybe she enjoys viewing her own work around her and considers the plastic replica lifeforms, the design synthetica, a high art in a kind of egocentric way. Or, yet again, Maybe she sees them as mere drones to carry out her bidding in relation to the city's more menial tasks. Maybe she thinks that you can't have too many for this party. Tech is approaching with an almost perfect performance from my right and is blending in beautifully. Good man. Tech has always shown the greatest attention to detail and improvises by following the subtlest movements of the half-carbon, half-synthetic mannequins surrounding him. With a crafty glance to my back right, I can clearly see Fuse, her face full of anxiety as she pushes past a few initiates to position herself where she needs to be. She is attempting to hold my gaze as though she is about to talk through and past the many moving torsos and expressionless faces, and then, blow me, she's actually silently mouthing, "Is this okay? Is this okay?" And I'm kind of just glaring back as if to say, "What the flying?" She finally gets the message and jerks her chin towards her chest so that her wavy brown hair is practically covering every gesture that could be wrong. But now she just looks like some kind of weird and immature emo type creature. Way to go, Fuse. Very natural. And Nat, moving in from my left, is also ballsing up in her own special kind of way. That's right, walking stiff through the crowd as if on remote control, her eyes fixed and motionless. She may as well be declaring in a clear and loud voice for all to hear, "I am a robot. I am a robot." Heaven help us. I love these guys, but seriously, heaven help us. All in all, and I'm trying desperately to cling to the positive here, our timing as we approach the central crystal pinion is pretty good. Unbelievably, it looks as though we are all on track. Yes. The crowd has tightened and we are currently stationary around the circular lift bay and roughly equidistant. Good, good. Somehow, we've actually done it. Phase 1 complete. And the next chapter is Sheol, the Chamber of Kaz. So we go deeper into understanding and connecting with this very dark crystal entity that's been created by dark forces. So, something to think about there, something to debate. When mankind discovers the spiritual, the energetic, in something very beautiful and very good, what is it in man that has to turn it dark? And we've seen this happen time and time again in the past. Maybe we should just leave well alone. That's my view anyway. Beautiful, beautiful. Hope you've enjoyed listening to a short passage from Starman. Thank you to everyone that has given me the positive feedback. That's great. When you launch a book, there's always those feelings of it being launched and you've let go of control of it, and you don't know what people are going to think, but it's been received really well, and that's good. That's exciting for me. That is a relief anyway, because it's quite a gritty book, but I think it touches a nerve and it needs to, and that's the point of prophecy and trying to be a visionary. It's to outline darkness that could be in the future so that we can avoid it and learn ahead of time what to do, what not to do, that sort of thing. Okay, so whatever you're doing today, have a great day. Thank you for tuning in, and maybe I'll do more chapters from Starman in the future if you want me to. Bye for now.